This is Sergio with MMA-Prospects.com. I am joined today by Braden Smith. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Not too bad. Before we get started, I want to talk about the pandemic, man. How have things been there with your with your training where you're at?
Well, I'm blessed to be in Florida, and I think it's probably one of the freest states in the country. So, besides back home in Oklahoma, that's pretty free too. But I'm thankful I'm not in a Democrat state. So
That being said, have you got it? Have you happened to get COVID or no?
I actually had COVID when they asked me to take the fight. To be honest, I had just gotten it from my fiance. She's a nurse and she brought it home, and she doesn't work on like the COVID unit, but she had got someone and then they sent them to the COVID unit, and it was just weird. It was like a body fever thing that lasted for like a week. And then as soon as it kind of made me rest, so then when I went into camp, I was fresh. So it was kind of all good, nothing serious.
Was there any hesitancy to take the fight?
No, actually, I was kind of glad that I got it like 5 or 6 weeks before. I think I got it 6 weeks before my fight. So it was good because I knew that there was no way that I was going to go into the fight and test positive and lose my fight. So that it actually was a good thing.
So it was 2 years since you had fought. How good did it feel to get your hand raised after such a long layoff?
If I'm being honest, I kind of felt like it was gonna feel really good, and then it just felt like a sparring match. So it wasn't like I feel like skill wise, like I feel like I'm at a place now where I'm ready to. I actually want to fight. Like I enjoy sparring really good guys in the UFC, so it's like I'm more than happy to actually fight them. So it's like to me, this is just like the intro to what I'm about to do, like in the next year. Um, so honestly, I think my next couple fights are not going to be real exciting to me, and I'm ready to get to the higher stage and actually be able to test myself. So.
Outside of the pandemic, was there a reason why we hadn't seen you so long? Was there injuries or anything like that?
Yeah, I didn't actually take time off because of the pandemic. A lot of people did, but I wanted to just get better. So like I realized I was at a place where I had already took like 14 pro fights, and I was like, I'm still young and like I'm still green in the sport at that time. So I was like, I was doing good against good guys, and then I'd lose to some good guys, and I was like, you know what, like I don't want to be a journeyman, and I don't want to ruin myself. So I had gotten a new manager, or I didn't have a manager before, so I got a manager, and then I discussed it with him. I was like, hey, look, I was like, trust me, like I'm gonna come back, but I was like, I want to take like a couple years off, and really there was no time limit on it. I just figured in a couple years I would be at the place where I visualized myself being, and so I was like, I'm gonna come back when I am doing things in the gym that with the highest level people, like if I want to be competing with the highest level guys in the world, and then I'm gonna come back. And so that's what I did. And I started having some days where I was like, dang, I was like, it's actually happening. And then so I hit him up and I was like, I'm ready.
You talked about there's two losses that stand out to me: Matt Dixon and Kyle Stewart, because they both went on to compete UFC and Contender Series. Is it a bit bittersweet knowing like that could have been you?
Honestly, they both went there and they kind of failed, like, and I think that also could have been me, and I wasn't coming to there to be in the UFC, and I think that it showed me that like, hey, I very well could have, like, I could have been just a little bit better and won those fights, and then got in the UFC and got cut after 2 fights, and it's like I don't want that for me. Like I'm looking to be a champion, like, and if I have to be patient and wait a little bit so that I can own this moment when I get there, then I'm cool with that. I'm patient. So
You took this fight at 185. Was there a decision to move up to 185, or was it just a one-off?
so my last, it's funny is it's like, I never really said this, but I mean, it's came and gone, but it's like my last 4 fights to 170 were getting really, really like hell, you know, and it was like I was cutting over 30 pounds to make those weights, and I was already lean. So it was like I remember like the Kyle Stewart fight, I actually passed out. I got out of the sauna and I passed out and I hit my head like really hard, and I like had a headache for like days, and I still fought. And like the Dixon fight, was the worst because it was like I felt okay honestly in the fight, but like one thing that scared me was I made 170, and that was the first time where I couldn't put the weight back on. I only gained like 12 pounds, and normally I would gain like 25 pounds, 26 pounds. I gained like 12 pounds, and I just was like, nothing would stay down. Like it was weird, and like that freaked me out. So I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm gonna get stronger and get bigger, and I was like, what's the point anyway? I was like, Matt Dixon was faster than me anyway. Like he was moving, he was closing the distance quicker than I could move, and like, and you know, Kyle Stewart was a big 170 pounder, and I was way bigger than him. So I was like, and then he moved up to 185 and was doing really well. So I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm gonna see what happens. And honestly, at 185, like I felt I could eat so much food. I was eating perfect. I actually ate cleaner for 185 in my camp than I did for 170, and I felt amazing. Like it was different, you know. And even after weigh-ins, like people were eating like, you know, eating out at restaurants and stuff, and I had meal preps. Like, you know, I'm already back on them, but I had meal preps waiting for me after weigh-ins, and I ate all the way up to weigh-ins. So, you know, I liked it way better.
And when you think about the UFC and Bellator, the 185 division doesn't have as much talent either as one at 170. You know, so your road to maybe the UFC or Bellator may be fast tracked by this move as well. Is that something you considered as well?
I did after the fight. I didn't think about that before, but I noticed like I had one fight at 185, and then my record's really good, so I was already ranked #1 in Oklahoma, and I was like ranked pretty high in the country. And honestly, like, I mean, yeah, it is honestly like even in the top 10 in the UFC, like I feel like Israel Adesanya is really, really good. You know, I think he's a really good striker, and he's definitely gonna set the tone at 185, and we have to work up to him. But like, I think that a lot of the guys in the top 10 in the UFC are not super impressive. Like they're good, but they're not on that same level that Israel's on. They're not like a world-class striker, or, you know, like I think that there's some definitely fights that I can win in the top 10, or if not, I'm getting really close. So, you know, I'm focused on me, and I'm going to get there.
So you took that layoff. Now you're back. You know, like you said, you needed that time. You're back. Are you trying to fight frequently? Are you trying to take some time off? How quickly do you want to be back in this?
I'm going to fight frequently. I'm not going to rush. So like when I fought before, I was fighting like every month or two. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take a little more time in between, probably like 3 or 4 months in between each fight. I'm planning on fighting in hopefully June. So, I mean, I think that's a perfect amount of time. Like, definitely not going to take off a large amount of time. Like, I'm not going to wait, like 6 to 8 months unless something happens and I have to. But no, I'm gonna hop in there pretty quick.
So you've competed in lots of organizations, LFA, HDMA. What's it like competing for XFC? There's a lot of hype around them right now.
It was actually really cool. I will say it was my favorite one because we did so many interviews. I actually felt like I was fighting for like Contender Series or something because like they were like, hey, we need you to do some interviews, and they were just sending me all these different ones. Like I had like an interview every few days, and then even after the fight, I've gotten some interviews, and it was my #1. I thought it was the best place. Yeah, I think they're doing great things.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of hype around them right now, especially their Young Guns shows. So I thought that was a great way. And you headlined it. How cool is that?
That was cool. I didn't know I was gonna headline it until like literally after I signed the contract, and then I found out I was headlining. So that was cool. And then like the day before the fight, we found out we were gonna be on Fox Sports 2, and so that was really cool. Like it was cool, man. And it was a little bit of pressure, I'm not gonna lie, because it was my first fight back in 2 years. I almost would have been cool with just having like a first fight on the main card, you know, and maybe a televised show. I wanted to be televised or like on a show like that, but I was like, to be main event and have that much hype and interviews and all that. It was a little weird, but it was like, I feel like I handled it really well, so.
What's it like having the mastermind of Frank Lester and Charles McCarthy in your corner and working with those guys day in and day out?
So it was crazy because it was like, one, the technique is crazy. Like Charles McCarthy's like a John Danaher type guy, and then Frank is like just a savage, and it's like it's crazy because it's like one thing that was different for me is that I've never like had someone in my corner that I felt like I needed to impress. Like I was like, you put this much time into me, you held pads for me for free, because I was broke, and like, you did all this for me, and then you flew all the way across the country to and then like Charles McCarthy, like shout out to him. He paid for his own way and got a rental car and came in the last minute because he was cornering the night before for Titan FC. So that gave me just like, it was pressure, but it was a good kind of pressure because I was like, man, like I have to perform, like, because they're coming out, coming out to watch me and corner me, and they came out, and it was really cool because I felt like I was in there and I had to perform, like there was no question. I was gonna do it, and but maybe that was why I was mad about my performance at first, because I was like, I felt like my standard, like I had such a high standard for what I was supposed to do that like I kind of was upset. But then I rewatched the fight and I was like, dang, I did pretty good. So yeah.
What's the secret here to these submissions? I mean, you just seem to be rattling these off one after another. What's the secret?
I don't know, man. It's starting to piss me off. I'm trying to get a knockout or something, but like I just keep. I don't know. It's like it's. I have really good submissions. I have really good chokes, and like I almost get into fights, and it's like I know I can outstrike the person. I know I can, but I know that like if this fight goes to the ground, I can finish it. Like I know I'm very confident I can choke him, and I actually like. I let go of a Darce in the second round. I had it fully locked in, and I let go of it because I was like, I wanted to go a little longer because I did have ring rust. And then they interviewed me, and I didn't want to sound like an asshole, like I carried him a little bit, but I was like, I wanted time in there, and I want to get like a TKO, but I don't know. I was just like, I don't want this fight to go to a decision because I do have 100% finish rate, so I didn't want it to go to a decision. So yeah.
I'll ask you a couple more questions and I'll let you go. Being from Oklahoma, I mean, you could have found football. What ended up leading you to mixed martial arts?
I actually was not good at any sports, and I didn't try wrestling. I probably would have been good at wrestling if I tried it, but like, it was weird because it was like, what kind of did it was, and I don't really talk about this much, but when I was a kid, I was in going into my freshman year of high school, and me and my little brother were at home, and the house there was a home invasion because they tried to rob the house, and I was there, and I was playing Xbox, and these people came in, and they like, I remember it was crazy because it was like I heard my bedroom door open, and I turned around, and I saw the person, and I was like, oh damn, like. And I just felt like I was like, damn, like my life was like, they could have killed us, Luckily we were kids, and they just like happened to, let us live. Like they tied us with shoelaces, and they stole everything, and then they left. And I remember it was like, it made me realize, I was like, man, you gotta like have a gun, and you gotta, which I grew up around guns, so that was already there. But then I was like, I started doing martial arts. And then like I just realized I really liked martial arts, and then started doing that. But I guess that was part of it because I did martial arts like right after that. But
it's crazy how a story like that, something like that, can change your life, and it's crazy that you found a career from that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they could have just killed us or something,
All right, I'll end on this. Is there anyone you want to thank before we end it?
Anyone I want to thank?
Yeah.
I want to thank my team, ACG, and I want to thank Frank Lester and thank Charles McCarthy for believing in me. And I can't wait to have another camp under the banner. And I don't have any sponsors because I was out for 2 years and everyone forgot about me. But yeah, I just want to thank them and thank my family and thank my fiance for believing in me this whole time. And that's all.
All right, man. Well, thanks for the time, man. I'm sorry the microphone was a bit weird, but I appreciate it, and man, I can't wait to see what's next.
Thank you. Me too.
All right, man. Stay safe.